Hi, my name is Jessica Smith. I operate a tax preparation practice out of the US, and I serve coaches and consultants with tax reduction strategies and just all tax, all things tax. I think the biggest setback for just a lot of people in my industry in general is there's just not a lot of professionals in the accounting area that are available to hire. They're either working for themselves or they're moving to larger firms because the pay is really good. So to find somebody who specializes in like the tax and accounting space can be really tricky. So that kind of required me to take a deep dive into like what part of my operations can I realistically carve out and maybe delegate to somebody where it doesn't have to be like a technical tax kind of experience level. And I could have somebody come in and take over some of those like admin related items that I'm either doing myself or in the case of my assistant Vanessa, that she's doing that we could, again, delegate to somebody who can just do some of that work for us. And so I was really getting into like what delegation really means because I'm not a natural born manager, I'm not a delegator. And so I had to really look into like who would fill that role. Virtual assistants was like the number one thing that came up. I was researching what can they do, like what kind of tasks can you assign them with, and it really kind of opened my eyes that there's a lot more flexibility in some of these other ancillary services that I offer that didn't have to be done specifically by a very experienced tax accountant. I could find somebody, in the case of how we've been able to work with Chris for the last 2 years, to come in and she's got a great skill set and just drive to do the work well. And I was able to get her into some of the operations that it was just overwhelming for Vanessa and I to do on our own and still maintain the like client facing work. I didn't want to have to interview anyone. So Vanessa and I worked together at my old law firm. So like to hire her was just like a phone call one day. She asked me, "Hey, are you still doing taxes?" And I said, "Yeah." And we were kind of chit-chatting. She's like, "Yeah, I haven't worked for the old law firm in a while. I'm actually looking for work." And then I said, "I need help in my firm. Would you be willing to like work for me?" And so I brought her on board. It was literally like I didn't have to interview her. I knew her. And I know based off like the sensitive nature of the kind of work that I do, I was like, how am I going to do the same thing for somebody that I don't know? How is it going to vet somebody who I could at least find to be trustworthy or was going to give me the right information, fit me with the right person? Because virtual assistants, there's tons of them. I mean, I can go online right now and I could get, thousands of results for virtual assistants in my area with a bunch of different skill sets. But for me to have to filter through potential candidates, maybe put out like a job posting, I was just lost on all that. So working with an agency made a lot of sense. That seems to be kind of the industry standard for at least my industry. We do seek service providers through either like personal referrals from other people that we work with or through kind of like an agency environment that we know to be reputable. Because if something goes wrong, I can report to an agency to hopefully resolve the issue as opposed to maybe working with an individual who might not have the, systems or insurances or anything that would, at the end of the day, protect me and protect my business. I really like the interview process. Again, you guys took that completely off of my plate. It was nice for me to be able to say, here's like what I do and what I'm looking to have done. And there were, I think, like 3 candidates that were provided. So I was able to like look at their skill set, look at what they have been doing in the past for other people, see what they had that was aligned with like the work that I needed done. That was super helpful. And then just getting her like integrated with everything. She's just really, really, really good to work with. Her communication skills are great. She bothers me when I ignore her on accident because I just have sometimes these like blinders on and just like work, work, work. She's like, "Hey, Jeff, I just want to follow up on this request that I have from you. I want to get this done." So I really like her. She's got a really good drive, a great work ethic, and she's just so sweet. I love working with her. I mean, a lot of places outsource overseas. I can't think of any large conglomerate kind of corporation that doesn't. It's becoming more the norm in my industry simply because of the fact that we cannot hire locally. And there's a lot of really, really skilled professionals overseas, lots of CPAs, actually lots of enrolled agents, which is what my licensing is. Lots of people who are, not located in the US that are licensed to practice in the US. So, aside from it being a more affordable option for smaller firms like me. It's realistically me, Vanessa, and Chris, and like one other part-time person. The barrier for me to hire was a lot lower, so it made it easier for me to bring someone like Chris on. Language-wise, I mean, she's got great skills and we're both really patient. I always ask her, if there's something that I've provided that just is not clear, like ask me again. I'm happy to describe it in another way. She's very sharp. We have a system where if I need to actually show her something, yes, we have a time zone difference, but we've overcome that. We share videos a lot. So if I have a specific task that I need done, I am recording a video and I'm showing her exactly how I want it done. And she reviews it. She comes back with any questions. We have been able to have still some team meetings. We usually have them a little bit later in the evening. So I'm in mountain time in Idaho. So I think we've had them at like 6 p.m. my time, which is a little bit early in the morning for her. Try to lead them to like 30 minutes so that, neither of us are having to either, get up too early or stay up too late. And it's just kind of worked out really well for us. The work that we have her do is usually not client facing. So she's able to do it honestly at any point in time. She helps with the bookkeeping internally for my firm, which was something I had ignored for literally forever. And she helped me get it to a point where I'm like, okay, now that I'm seeing this kind of come together. She does a lot of database management, which has been great. So all of the clients get added to my contacts. So I'm always able to find them on my phone when needed, information that I need in certain places. It's great. She's doing all this while Vanessa and I are sleeping. So there's a lot that we've been able to work with her on. But again, the time difference is not an issue because the work that we're doing client-wise is where we pick up after she's done with some of the stuff that she's done.